There appears to be no going back on the proposed End Bad Governance nationwide protest slated to commence tomorrow Thursday. An idea is said to have been stoked about the prevalent hunger and hardship across the country. The protest meant to register the displeasure of the Nigerian people against the policies of government of President Bola Tinubu is conceived to run for 10 days, except there is a major intervention along the way. There are several interventions by the government, traditional rulers and institutions, civil societies, and youth groups on the need to shelve the protests. Some said that it is also a time for them to press on their demand by going on the street to demonstrate what they call the peaceful protest. But there are also considerations by government to shelve these protests on the fact that there are lessons of the EndSARS protests of 2020. Experts and legal practitioners have said, yes, it is a fundamental right of people to go on a protest. But what happens when it escalates? It's out of hand, out of control of the security agencies. The IG of police have also warned that people protesting must submit their details, must submit their names, for them to know those should be accountable if any time events get to be out of hands. All of these have been back and forth between the people, the young people, many Nigerians, and the federal government. And earlier today, there was a town hall meeting organized by the House of Representatives in a bid to highlight what the government are doing. And they were persuading young people to understand the fact that, yes, we understand the hardship of the country, but President Bola Tinubu seems to be doing a whole lot to intervene in some of these issues. There are also several attempts by the fact that the ministers have to hold a Royal Press Conference earlier today addressing the issues, addressing the achievement of this government, which they can argue that it is consequent upon the impact of the removal of subsidy by the president. But let me bring you the reaction of the Speaker of the House of Representatives earlier today in respect to the town hall meeting we held with some youth organization, persuading them to shelve the protest and come on with a dialogue mechanism to address the issues of the hardship. Take a listen.
Government has invested in modern farming techniques and infrastructure to ensure farmers have the resources to increase yield and profitability. Again, your voice matters and we are listening. It is crucial to understand that meaningful reform often requires time and consensus, particularly for issues embedded in statutory and constitutional frameworks. Incremental change is vital and your engagement is essential. We must work together on a sustained step-by-step basis to address our challenges and achieve the Nigeria we all aspire to have.
That was the reaction of the speaker. The speaker is also feeling the concern, and as a father, I was there at the event. He highlighted some of these issues and said he understands the pains of the Nigerians, he understands the reality of ground. But the young people are still persuading as well that some of the plans and projects and initiative of government is not what is on ground. Government said 50 kg bag of rice will now be sold at 40,000 to cushion the effect. And some persons are saying, why did you have to wait the last minute and the last hour before you start going or bringing some initiative and consent? All of these have sparked controversies within the part of government and the people. But we're going to break, and once we return, a guest, of course, will be giving us an understanding of how we can track the interventions, the projects and the initiative of government, and why the people seem to be far from the government's plan, and why government is also planned from the reality on ground. This will top our discussion tonight on the program Big Talk. Do stay with us.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
Are you ready to be entertained like never before? Get ready to dive into the latest and greatest entertainment news in lifestyle, music, movies, birthday celebration, and so much more. All on Entertainment Circle on Global Television. From the hottest red carpet events to exclusive interviews.
What advice everyone for us to stay with us? Of course, you are watching Big Talk here on Global Televisions, where we're taking a conversations regarding what seems, the situation where the people are far from what government are doing. At the other time, government are over-explaining themselves on what they are doing. And the argument is that the government seems to be far from the reality on ground. As of today, we are having a hardship reflecting on every Nigerian, where it has pushed a lot of people to start asking questions. What then is democracy? But we'll take a look at what government said that they have said the removal of subsidy has been a great issue, right? The governors have released over 5 billion naira to each state to cushion the impact in an inclusive manner that prioritizes the poor, vulnerable, and the elderly. But my guest tonight on the program is Umar Yakubu, the Director for Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity, rather. Thanks so much for joining us, Mr. Yakubu.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to always have you. This time, and a burning issue, dropping politics aside, the reality on ground. Many persons said, we can't see what government are intervening. We can't see the project, we can't see the initiative, we can't see over the billions shared to governors, we can't track them, we can't see this thing reflecting on the life of every Nigerian. Is this the truth, or the reality is the fact that Nigerians are just unnecessarily making noise about what hardship means?
No, there's a yes and no to that question. Yes, in the sense that no economy can take the shock of removing fuel subsidy, for one. You now come and float the naira, which has driven your inflation upwards. Everything has skyrocketed. Everything is like 2-3 times the price. So no economy can take that shock. So the burden is just too much for citizens to bear, because all they are complaining is food prices, the cost of light, the cost of fuel, and cost of transportation. But the truth is, every analyst you ask, what is the alternative to the removal, the alternative other than removing the fuel subsidy, unless you're floating the naira? People don't know what to say, and even economists, all of us, we don't know the options to give. So this is the problem. But Nigerians are for lack of another word to use, are suffering. They are really suffering. Things are really bad. Things are terrible, Families are going through trying times. So that's a serious problem. The second issue is that the mechanism for distribution of these funds, they are not effective. Every time federal government wants to share palliative, the short-term measures is solving problems. Share money, share food, I share some little palliatives here and there. Now the mechanism is through the governors. It has not worked. This is not the first time federal government has shared things through the same system. It has not worked. During Buhari's regime, through Ministry of Humanitarian, if I'm correct, they shared. It didn't go. If you remember, there was a riot. They were breaking some houses and taking all the food stuff. So these are the issues. Federal government has to devise a way of sharing to citizens, and it's simple. You have your BVN, you have your NIN, you have all those data collections. All you do, unify them. Let everybody have one unique ID. It means you have everybody's account number. Those that don't have bank accounts in the villages, you onboard them. And you just, if you want to share money, you have everybody's account and data, and you just share directly to them.
Yes, because some of these concerned are the fact that the government's explanations, there's a common saying in Nigeria, you could explain tire, no evidence. It seems that the evidences are not there, because when you look at the recent one about over 20 trailers that have been, given out to state governors as well, in a bid to question this effect, they're concerned about what happens, because the federal government is now saying a lot of pressure is on us. We are doing a bit decentralizing also to state, granting autonomy to the local government. What other means do you think that government can go about this distribution? Because even if they didn't go through this way, we would have also had concern and cries of governors and local government saying we can't see this process fully. What's the missing line about this distribution? Where are we getting it wrong?
Okay, I'll refer you to, I think, in 2012 or so. And Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala said Nigeria will have a income distribution problem. And it's common with developing economies, because there are some certain parameters that are supposed to be in place that we don't have. Like the identity I talked about, knowing how many you even are in the country, what are your income levels and all that data. Now, federal government now has decided to overburden itself by taking the heat. Nobody is asking what the state governors are doing. Don't forget, when it comes to income sharing, 52% goes to federal government, the rest goes to the state and local governments. And the governors control the local governments. So let's just say 48% goes to state governments. Now, how many people, including our civil society, have asked the state governments what they are doing with those funds? Why is it always federal government? There's no way federal government can be feeding the subnationals directly. It's a very poor, ineffective mechanism.
So would you now say that the recent reducing the tariff on imported food items might also be a short term that is not yielding result? Because some of the agriculturals are also concerned that, you can't really have to open borders right now. You're killing agriculture in the system. Some of these things, it seems government are doing a lot of trials and errors that is not really working. What's the reality right there?
Yeah, that always happens when you don't have an agreed standard economic policy. When you have an economic policy, come with your trade policy, come with your even foreign policy to a large extent, and agree on the table what you should do and what you should not do, you will not have this problem. One government cannot come and close the borders. The next government comes to open it. They are going to have distortions all over. Some people have now gone to borrow money from the bank to start up industries. Now you want to open the border because you have pressure to feed people. So that would distort the economy. So and every economy has to agree, every government has to agree on what they want to do through their economic policy. And the right thing to do is, in as much as you want to open the borders and bring in an inflow of foodstuffs, you are going to kill the local industry.
All right. We'll be looking at some of these other concerns about dialoguing, because some person said for you to remove subsidy, it means you would have come to the table of understanding how you're going to implement this, because if you look at almost all the presidential candidates have subscribed removal of subsidy. And it seems even some of these intervention subsidies, many Nigerians are saying no, we do not want that. We just want a situation where we can buy fuel as at what we used to, because to them it is what is giving effect on every commodities and sectors in the country. Do you feel that the government is far from the people, and they're also citizens' engagement properly as it ought to be in the democracy?
All the citizens' engagements since 2011 has been ongoing about removal of fuel subsidy. But they give us one angle of the argument to remove the fuel subsidy. Why removing it? Because government cannot take the burden of the subsidy. Why can't they take the burden? There is corruption. There is heavy corruption in that oil and gas industry. If they sort out the corruption problem, it will really come down. But they don't want to solve the corruption problem, or they can't. Probably they can't, because actually that area is captured. Governments are involved. high-level people are involved, the politically exposed persons are involved. They say sometimes even the security services are involved. So the place has been captured, which is why it's difficult to handle. But if they solve that problem of that, the corruption is broad, oil theft, people will even bring in seawater and go and collect money for subsidy. A lot of things were happening. If you remember, in 2011 or so, our subsidy bill just doubled to 1.8 trillion. Now they're talking about almost over 10 trillion payment for subsidies. So these are the issues. So once you address those issues, the government will now know actually. Did you notice when they removed the fuel subsidy, our consumption dropped by how many million liters per day? That's the actual data. That's the actual for what we consume, by about 50%. So you see there's a corruption problem. Now that I've introduced it back, you are still going to start having the same problem.
Because the reason I'm asking that, they were concerned that government said they will be saving they will be making some savings from the subsidy itself. But we have the fact that we are still having over 68% in servicing our debt, because part of this issue is the fact that a lot of, the last administration, over 97%, they were servicing the debt over 97% from our revenue. What happens from the savings? Can we, do we really have savings from this subsidy, or is government, do you perceive that government seems to be paying subsidy? Because there have also been government coming out and said, no, we are not subsidizing fuel and all of that. But there are all indication, because the recent engagement with the labor, the president said, in case if you need 250,000 minimum wage, it also means that I'm going to increase, there will be increase in the fuel price. That was a body language further justifying the issues of subsidizing fuel. Where are the savings of subsidy? We ought to see the impact of the savings of subsidy. But that's what many Nigerians are considering as well.
Well, yeah, I'm as confused as you are, actually, because there's no way you have removed subsidy. There's more money coming in Naira terms. Your debt has ballooned because of the foreign exchange fine. Your debt has ballooned. You are still paying heavy interest, and there are literally no savings. And you are still running to the IMF, taking loans and loans and loans. Now, but if you look at the data, a lot of more money has gone to the subnationals. I like insisting on them. Much is not happening there. That's why you can never feel the impact. Most Nigerians are at the subnational level. Not many people are in Abuja. You understand? So that's why the impact is not being felt. But the industry is taking shape. I think the oil and gas industry, at least now you can see what is happening with Dangote and Co. This wasn't even possible. At least they are conceding to support a local refiner producing fuel. So I think we're...
Is that a sign that the president is not having the political will to confront the issues in the oil sector? Because the silence over time was enough.
I don't think it's the political will. Maybe the citizens protested. Maybe he has decided to listen. Maybe he's a listening president, So maybe that's why at least now they're taking steps. But what even happened ought to not have happened in the first place. You cannot have a national that has a refinery of 650,000 barrels per day, if I'm correct, that can serve the nation, but the state, instead of supporting him, is actually, you don't need to support it. You could decide to be neutral. Actually, they are regulators. But the state cannot be seen to be the one to be the stumbling block to progress of that refinery. At the minimum, be neutral and ensure he does the right thing, but you don't become a stumbling block.
Is it true that the rich are also feeling the impact of some of these issues? Because for Dangote to come out and make an outcry, for people to start protesting, it therefore means that some of the policies of government currently is affecting everyone. Is that the reality?
All the rich are on Band A. And if you know what Band A means, you are paying, whatever you are paying is now 4 times. That Band A is no joke. You can see people actually begging to go back to Band B. So the rich are feeling it. The rich are the ones that have 4 or 5 cars, SUVs, V8s, they take about 100 liters per car. So now you're fueling each car with 80,000 naira, 90,000, 4 cars, that's 400,000. So these are part of the problems. That is why you see there's just this more drive to be getting more money, whether illicit, mostly illicit, to get more money to start financing the standard of living that has now been interrupted by all these policies.
So you may likely say that it's not out of place for people, for Nigerians to plan a protest, because they are having this justification to go on this protest. What's your concern about that hardship and bad governance?
Of course, it's fully justified, the protest, but I always try to a little bit agree with the argument of government that most protests will be hijacked. Our system is not ready. Even the Western countries that we see, when there are protests, is likely to be hijacked. So when it's hijacked, there will be security concerns. So if you talk to any security personnel, he's going to look at it strictly from the angle of civil lives and property, not about what you are demanding. If you look at it from the angle of a civil activist, you see that I'm demanding for my right. So these are arguments that all have to look at. Protest is good. It puts pressure on government. In fact, we're protesting every day. We're on TV now. We're talking about protesting. There are several ways and means. But the security issue should be looked at, because lives being lost in the long run should not happen. It should not happen.
Because some of these protesters are saying that in 2012 we had a president who provided ambience for a peaceful protest, likely where there was no rancor, the person, their demands and all of that. Why is it that the administration currently seems to be panicking about the protest other than embracing it? You see a lot of ministers going back to their constituencies and villages and saying, tell your children not to go on a protest. People have been mobilized in the street of Abuja to counter the protest, saying no to protest, using protest to say no to a protest. We've seen some of this back and forth. Do you feel that there's another way government would have embraced these issues so that it wouldn't be as if they're taking side already?
There's no government in the world that would want to be protested against. No government. So it's normal with what they're doing. Even then, when they were protesting in 2012, the government then did not like it. So that is normal. But don't forget, my friend, that the medium for sending our concerns is the National Assembly. That's the medium. That's why we voted the senators and the House of Representatives. That institution seems to have failed in performing their duty of channeling our governance. That is why people now have bypassed that whole arm of government, because they are not doing what they are supposed to do. If they were there taking the concerns, our concerns, not become a rubber stamp, anything the executive brings, they stamp everything, and he enters a hall, you are even singing his anthem when you are supposed to kind of positively antagonize him by telling him to do what he's supposed to do. So that is why that place has failed, and that is why people are protesting. So I think we really need to critically look at that arm of government and ensure they are effective enough in transmitting the messages of the citizens.
They are concerned also about why this time. We had issues of bad governance many years ago. I mean, we can begin to track about the People's Democratic Party government. We can begin to count Buhari's administrations and all of that. Is it that Nigerians have lost some confidence and trust in government? That's the reason why they can't wait for 4 years of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration before they can start complaining.
Yeah, if you look at protests all over the world, the major trigger sometimes is when it affects their livelihood. You touch their food.
So it's not about any government.
Yes, they're not really. But so the two policies he put in place that brought these shocks, you have touched their livelihood. The food is there, the basic needs, the food is there, the healthcare is there, and the transportation. So once you have touched these things, people will protest. There's no hungry man in the world that will not protest when he's hungry. And people are not feeding well as they're supposed to. The food inflation now is about 40%. That's what the data from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics says. So it's horrible, and that problem needs to be fixed.
Thanks so much, Mr. Mario Yakubu, the Center Director, Executive Director of Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity, for your concern. Of course, we do hope that government will have a keen look at some of these policies and make a reconsideration in a bid to addressing the concern of Nigerians, even as it seems to go on the street tomorrow on the protest regarding the hardship issues in the country. Thanks so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, we've gone on a break, and once we return on the break, we'll be, of course, highlighting other issues regarding the planned protest and what necessary are the other intentions and motive of young people on the program. Do stay with us. I'll be right back.
Are you ready to be entertained like never before? Get ready to dive into the latest and greatest entertainment news in lifestyle, music, movies, birthday celebration, and so much more. All on Entertainment Circle on Global Television. From the hottest red carpet event to exclusive interviews with your favorite stars, we've got you covered. Stay up to date with the latest trends and news from the entertainment world, all in one place. Tune in every Saturday by 1 p.m. with Chong Annabelle Joseph on Global Television.
In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first. Get ready for it. Inside Today brings you issues relating to family, peer pressure, drugs, substance abuse, societal and topical issues making rounds. Join Jumaine Manson on Global Television Monday to Thursday and they repeat every Friday. Time 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Don't miss out.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on Global Television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Hello, children. Gather around, let me tell you a story. Do you know that stories have a way of captivating the minds of children, bringing fun and imagination to teach them morals? Join Sharon Ajay as she takes you to explore the thrilling and exciting world of storytelling.
I'll be sharing with you our next interesting story.
Tune in every Saturday on Global Television, time 5:30 p.m.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria, come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are the because
that this country gets it right.
Who are these bandits? It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex.
Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility